Hey everyone, welcome to the Animal Experience. This is a weekly show that I decided I'm going to put together. And what it is that every week I have a theme, and the theme is, the topics that I learned from the animals over the years. So it's all pretty exciting. I'm having a ball doing it. This is episode 5. So I want to thank everybody for joining. What I'll do is, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will absolutely answer them at the end. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to get right on into it instead of greeting everybody. I appreciate everybody for watching this, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you're watching it later on Facebook. I don't care. I just really appreciate all of you, and I'm glad you could make it as well. So thank you, everyone. So what the Animal Experience is it is pretty much a weekly show that I decided to do on the topics that I've learned from the animals over the years. I wanted to share it with all of you because it's shaped me tremendously on who I am, not only as a person, but as a seer, as an animal communicator, as a healer. It's incredible. So I wanted to share it all with all of you. So before I forget, let me introduce myself for those of you who do not know me. My name is Coryelle Kramer. I am a professional metaphysical expert for animals and people, and that's a shorter way of saying I'm an animal communicator, I'm a seer, I'm a healer, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, blah, 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 do it all, pretty much everything. So what you can do is that I'll show you and share it with you, my information, later on at the end of the show, so that you can, if you're interested in doing a reading with me, you certainly can, or a session with me for you or for your animals. Do I have a cold? Sharon asks. No, I don't have a cold. My voice might be a little bit deeper than it normally is, but I don't know why. But no, I don't have a cold. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining me. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. So for this this little TV show of mine, or this little Facebook live show of mine. So let's get to it. This episode is episode 5. What I would suggest is all the episodes are going in a certain order. You can certainly watch them however you want, but I'm channeling them and it seems to follow a certain order. So what I want to do is I want to let you know, you might want to look back on some of the episodes that I have done before if you haven't already. Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. You might want to look back on the episodes that if you haven't already, because they all pretty much coincide and they're going in a certain order. Okay. Today, what we're going to be talking about is something that I knew absolutely nothing about. I'm glad everybody's so happy that they're making the live show. So, something that I knew absolutely nothing about before I really started to connect to the animals. And that is soul plans and life plans. What are they? How do they affect us? How do they affect our animals? That's what this episode is going to be talking about. So what I want to say is this, before I get too much into it. What I want to mention is last week we were talking about sustenance animals and how their soul plan and their life plan has led them to that point in their lives as being sustenance and as well as prey animals. So it kind of like, again, what I'm saying is it coincides and it weaves in. So all these shows that I'm doing, no matter what, I want to say is these are my own personal experiences working with the animals. It's got nothing to do with me learning it from another animal communicator, or that the other animal communicator, if they're not talking about it, is wrong, or anything else like that. It's just I asked these questions, and these are the answers that I've received from the animal and the animal consciousness as well. All right? So that's all that it's all about. So that's why we might have different things, or we're not talking about the same things, or whatever. So this show is meant to inform you. It's meant to give you my experiences, but it's not anything that's should be taken as the way that it is for every single animal communicator, because every single animal communicator is different. Just want to say that. So, soul plans and life plans. So again, this is absolutely nothing that I had absolutely no experience with working with animals. All right. So when did I first learn about soul plans and life plans? Interestingly enough, I started learning about soul plans and life plans when I started to connect to the animals, like who were reincarnating. And that's why I'm saying it's important for you to listen back to the other episodes so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, because I don't want you to be lost. So when the animals started to really connect to me about between 10 and 8 years ago, and I started to see a collation of them coming back, but not only just reincarnating, I started getting them reincarnating back to this person that they were just leaving in order to be a part of their lives. And when I started to talk about this and I started to hear about this, I became a curious Kathy. And I'm glad everybody's finding the topic so interesting. That's great. So I became a curious Kathy when they started talking to me and mentioning, well, why? Because I would ask, why are you coming back? Well, it's written in my soul plan. Huh? What's a soul plan? So I started to really be curious about it, and I started to really ask the animals, what is this? Then I started to hear about life plans. Because they would say, well, it's written in my soul plan and it's also written in my life plan. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this is. So could you please let me know? So they started to really and truly relay to me what a soul plan and a life plan is all about. And that's when I started to really, I think that's when I really started to grow as not only as an animal communicator, but as a seer. Because the soul plans are not just for animals. It was easier for me to hear it from the animals than it was from the spirits, because I really wasn't doing spirit work then. I was just solely animal communicator, and that was it. So it was pretty interesting because, oh, my cousin, my niece is on. Hi, Robin. Sorry, I have to say hello to Robin. She's my niece. It's written in the stars. So what was interesting was that before all that, I had no idea what they were. I didn't know what this whole thing was about. So it became very, very interesting when it started to become more and more and more and more and more that I got into all this stuff. And they really did make me a better communicator. They made me a better seer. They made me a better animal communicator. So hang on one second. Somebody's got a question, so I'm just going to read that. Elizabeth Foley, I have a question for you. When an animal dies, do they have a choice to come back as either another animal or the same animal, or to take on human form? I will be explaining that in a little bit. So you must be psychic, and that's a joke because she is psychic. She's a psychic. So yes, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a little bit. So that's when I started to learn, and they made me a better person. They made me a better animal communicator. They made me a better seer, because they started, it's not just the animals. It's not just the animals who are sharing this. It's all spirits. It's all souls. So it became very, very interesting. It became this journey of uncovering for me personally, and discovery for me as an intuitive. So there we go. So what are soul plans and what are life plans? So this is the way that it was explained to me. So a soul plan is when one soul and another soul, or one soul by itself, gets together and kind of makes a decision. between either themselves in the universe or each other in the universe. So one soul is in non-physical talking to another soul or talking to a group of souls and saying, hey, I got an idea. What would be really cool is this next life, why aren't you the mom and I'll be the dog? Or you're the son and I'll be the father? Or, you know, you're my friend and you're my other best friend, or, you know, things like that. There, you make a soul plan for what your soul is supposed to be doing on this earth, who you're supposed to be on this earth. All right, so I hope that's clear. So yeah, so one soul talks to another, or one soul talks to the universe and says, this is what I want to be. I want to be a dog. And I want you to be my owner, my first owner, you to be my second owner, and you to be my forever home. Or I want to be, I want to be a red-tailed hawk, and I want you to, be, my child, or I want you to be my hatchling, or something else like that. There, it is the souls talking to one another and finding out how they're going to live their lives down here. So I hope that explains that. The interestingly enough about this, that I also learned from the animals, is that a soul plan can be as general or as specific as you want it to be. So a soul plan also relays in it, hang on 1 second. No, that's the life plan, sorry. So the soul plan can be, the soul plan and the life plan can be as specific or as general as you want it to be. This is what I mean. I want to be a cat. That's it. That's it. I just want to live life as a cat. Now, that means that you're pretty much up for anything that happens. You're, you can get, it's a crapshoot. And it's not necessarily all bad, because here's the thing, is that when we're a soul and non-physical, we don't sweat the small stuff. We don't sweat the, what if somebody hurts me or somebody abuses? We're just like, it's all expansion. It's all growth. That's how we see the higher picture when our souls are in non-physical. We don't get caught up in the small stuff. And I don't mean that abuse is small. I don't mean that, but we're not so wrapped up in it. We're not so fearful. We don't have fear, is what I'm saying. When we're non-physical, there's no fear. We have absolute, ultimate trust. So that's how generally you could be. Now, specific. I want to be a dog. I want to be a bulldog. I want to be living in a house with a person who can 100% take care of my needs without any problem financially. I want to be able to live my life with this person and be their soul mate in dog form. I want to live my life a long life. I want to transition in such a way that it's not painful at all. And I want to have a really, really good life with this person. And I don't want to I want to transition. Well, that's the life plan. But the soul plan is like specific. This is the way I want my soul to be down here. I want to be a dog. I want to be a dog in a specific kind of dog. I want to be, I want to live a specific kind of life. That's how the soul plan works. So that's how we see it. Sometimes we want to, and it's all expansion. Sometimes we want to come down and be as general as we possibly can, and we want to be as specific as we possibly can, because we've already gone through a lot of trauma and drama, and our next life we want to be more general. We want to have more control over what we have, what our soul's plan is supposed to be. I hope that explains the soul plan. Now, what a life plan is. The life plan is kind of like a blueprint for actions and events that are going to happen in your life when you're down in here. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a child, whether you're a dog, whether you're a cat, whether you're a horse, whether you're a lizard, I don't care. All right? The life plan is what's going to be happening, the actions and events that are going to be occurring. For example, I'm going to have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Okay? Or the stages of enlightenment that you go through. Like, I'm going to go through, I'm going to go through a turbulent time in my teenage years where I'm going to feel lost and alone, but I'm going to grow from that, and from that I'm going to get the help that I need, and then I'm going to get reconnect to my spirituality in another way, and I'm going to grow from that spiritually as a being. It's also about, personal growth. So I'm going to be going through this challenging time, this health issue, but I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to make myself better from it. I'm going to be married for a little bit, but then I'm going to get divorced. All this is the life plan, the actions and events. I'm going to, decide at one point in my life that I'm going to abuse drugs and alcohol, but I'm going to either grow from it, or I'm going to move on from it, or I'm going to I'm going to transition from it. Also transitioning, when, how, and why. So that's all written in your life plan. And you also have, that can be as general or as specific as you want. So you come down and you say, okay, this is my soul plan. I'm going to be a dog. I'm going to be a bulldog, just throwing it out there. Now I'm going to live with a person or persons who are going to be able to take care of me 100%. I'm going to live in a beautiful house, a beautiful home, have other bulldogs and other animals around me so that I have worked out soul plans with them back in non-physical. I'm going to live with a cat. It can be as specific or as general as you want. So the transition is the same way. I want to transition fast. That's it. I just want to transition fast. Well, fast can be anything. I mean, it could be, it could be a car accident. It could be you're hit by a car. It could be anything. You know what I'm saying? Hang on one second. My phone is a little weird. I don't know why. I've got to move my phone. I'm sorry, everyone. So it can be as specific or as general as you want it to be. Okay? And but nothing is wrong, nothing is right. And if you think about this, and saying, if it's written in the stars, so to speak, then how can something be wrong that happens in my life? But we'll go more into that later. So again, I hope that answers your question from before, Elizabeth, because that's what I wanted to let you know. Okay, is that there's a weird stuff going on with my phone, so I just want to make sure, because now it's sideways, but we're okay. I'll be able to read everybody's thing. If I don't get to everybody's question, I promise I will answer it at the end. I just want to get through this, so because there's a lot to cover. So that is the difference between a soul plan and a life plan. Both can be as specific or as general as you want it to be. I hope that explains that. Okay, because it's pretty important. The other thing is that, why do they exist at all? Why? Why do we have soul plans? Why do we have life plans? Well, life here on this plane, whether you believe this or not, whether you're going through a tough time now or not, okay? I'm not trying to belittle anybody's experience, but basically, really and truly, life here on this plane is all about joy and fun. It really is. It's about joy and fun. It's about becoming more through the lives we live, and through those lives that we live, non-physical becomes more. I explained this in the death episode that I did a couple of weeks ago. So non-physical can't become more on its own. It needs us whether we're animal, vegetable, people, or mineral, okay, it needs us to expand. It needs our experiences down here to expand so that when we go back up to non-physical, non-physical downloads all the information from us and then grows and expands. Because otherwise it's just same old, same old. Oh, yeah, I'm making $1 million. There you go. Oof. I got myself a yacht. Oof. But you can't expand. It would be like it would be like having the same computer, okay, for the next 20 years. Would it work? Yeah. Is it optimal? Probably not. And after a while, it's going to be archaic. It's just going to happen that way. So I wanted to just let you all know that. Elizabeth says yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sideways. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. I don't know what the heck is going on. So I'm a little confused. So hang on one second while I try to straighten myself out here. Okay, so we're there. And now we're there. And it's still sideways. All right. I'm going to just believe that this is part of written in my soul plan somehow, some way. And I'm going to let that go. And I'm sorry I'm sideways. I'm sorry it flipped on y'all. But since we're sideways, you know something? I might as well just bring you this way, so then that way I can read what's going on. Now, please, again, forgive me for my fingers. I am very sorry about all this stuff. Somebody's laughing at me. Yeah, all of y'all just laugh at me. That's fine. Whatever. So I'm sorry we're flipping back and forth. It's technology. It's whatever. Okay, it's supposed to be. It's written in my life plan. Okay, so that is why we have and why they exist at all. Hey man, if you can't laugh at yourself, you might as well give it up. Okay, just give it up. So what the final thing that I want to say about why they exist is that it's really an extraordinary experience and an honor to be able to do what we do on this earth. And what I mean by that is we're put on this earth to do that which makes our hearts sing if we're lucky, and that which makes our soul plan and our life plan mean something. It brings meaning to our lives. No matter what it is our life is all about, it doesn't matter. It's written in the stars. So, every life is important. Every life brings something to this world. So that's why I think it's really extraordinary. And that's why I think life plans and soul plans are such a wonderful topic, because they really do make you understand that, your life, no matter what's going on with it, is important and matters. So, and the animals know this. So how do life plans and soul plans play a part in a being's reincarnation? So first off, what you have to understand is the life plan and the soul plan is like a sacred bonding agreement between that soul or the souls and the universe itself. And it could be written a little while ago, like a few months ago or a few years ago. This soul plan could have been written millennia ago. It could have written thousands of years ago. And I'm going to probably go more into it when I go into the past lives, which is going to be in a few weeks from now. So these are sacred agreements that we have with the universe. And it's been written in binding agreement between all involved. So it's something that once a soul goes into it with joy, but it doesn't go into a soul or life plan without really and truly giving it some thought. It doesn't do it willy-nilly. Oh, that line is shorter to the soul plans. I'll get on that line and make the agreement, because it really doesn't mean anything. It really and truly does mean something. It's binding. It's been written for a very long time, or it could be, just written a few months ago or a few years ago. But it doesn't matter how long it's been written, it's been written. So once that happens, reincarnation, the animals were showing me with reincarnation, they were showing me when I was connecting to them and I was asking them, why are you coming back? It's written in my soul plan. Oh, okay. So your soul plan is saying that you're going to come back, and you're going to come back to this person, or you're just going to come back at all. You're not going to come back. You're going to come back, but not to necessarily to this person. You are going to be reincarnated. But the life plan was showing me why they were coming back to you. The soul plan was showing me that they were coming back to you. The life plan was showing why. And it's usually because they want to share things with you. They want to share either the shift of consciousness, like I've described before, that we're all going through, and they want to be a part of it. But they want to be a part of it in a body that's newer, that can take, that they can experience the shift of consciousness with you longer in. So they want to come back, but their old body was giving out. So the soul decides that it's going to come back, and it's got to come back usually in a younger body, like a little puppy or a little kitten, or an animal that's maybe a year or younger. Not always, but a lot of times, because they want as much time with us as possible. So that the life plan is showing me why. Either you're going to go through a personal shift that they believe that they need you to be a part, they need to be a part of with you, or they need they need for their own expansions as well as your expansion to come down and share this with you. Or there's going to be something, maybe you're on a spiritual journey or a metaphysical journey, and you are breaking the boundaries of who you were before and stepping newly into maybe being a healer, or being what I call a light artisan. Or you want to start doing psychic work, or you want to start doing crystal work, or you want to start doing sacred geometry work, or you want to start doing more creativity. That is usually, and they want to be a part of it. A lot of them want to be a partner to you and a part of this journey with you. So they want to somehow or another be incorporated into your new work, that light artisan or creative work that you're going to be doing. So it can be any number of reasons. It could be just that they just want to be part of, they feel the connection. There's a soul connection. There's a soulmate connection, not in a weird way, but soulmate, life, soul friend, soul sister, soul brother feel, and they want to be a part of it. It could be simply that they just want to come in really quickly and then go back out. A lot of them don't do this. A lot of them come in for a longer space of time than just going in and saying hi and going out. So that's where the reincarnation, sorry, I got something in my eye. That's where the reincarnation comes in. That's how it marries with the reincarnation. See, the soul plans are guides for me for if and when they are coming back, and the life plans are guides for me for why they're coming back. And I use them quite often. Now that I know about them, I ask about them with a lot of the animals that I'm talking to, not just, the ones who are transitioning, although yes, but a lot of the animals, I ask them, some of their questions, I ask them when they're talking to their people. When I'm doing just a session about anything, I just say, what's your soul plan? What's your life plan with this person? It makes the animal communication even more deeper, even more expansive, even more healing, even more beautiful. It makes that animal communication session even more amazing, in my opinion, anyway. So, You know, all this finally, I just want to say that all this I learned directly from the animals. You know, they're masters of the divine. They just are. And they're wise. They're wise beyond words. They're wise beyond anything you can imagine. And, you know, I feel blessed every single day for what they shared with me, because every single thing they shared with me has made me a better person, has made me a better being on this planet, has made me more enlightened, has made me more wise, I guess you would call it, you know. So it's a blessing to have them, you know, as this, and being able to listen to them and hear them, and the stuff they have to share is just incredible. And here's the thing, it's not all the animals know this. Not all animals know about star children. Not all animals know about past lives. I've been blessed to be able to have those animals connect with me. For some reason, maybe they felt I was open to it. I don't know. Maybe it was a Tuesday. I don't know. You know, whatever. I don't care. I'm just glad that they did. So, and to be able to share it with all of you is just an incredible, wonderful, amazing gift as well. And I'm feeling blessed for that. So that is soul plans. That is life plans. Now, what I'm going to be doing is, because we had a little weirdness going on with the camera, and again, apologies for that, but you know, you got to roll with it however you can roll with it. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take anybody's questions that they have right now and see if I can go back and see if I can see them, and I'll answer those questions. Thank you, Elizabeth, for letting me know I went sideways. Question. Sadie Kenyon has a question. If I were to make an appointment with you, can you tell us what our life plans, soul plans are? Yes, I can. It's kind of like an Akashic, it's kind of like an Akashic record, so to speak. It's kind of like an Akashic record, which is a life purpose for people. And it's also kind of like, I can also talk about past lives as well. You know, if you have a past life with your animal, and what that's all about. Yes, I can absolutely help you with the soul plan, life plan, Sadie. I'd be happy to and honored to. Thanks everybody for letting me know I was sideways. I'm sorry about that. I look cute sideways. Great. Good to know I look good sideways, and front ways, and all these other ways. What I'm probably going to be doing though is I'm probably going to be loading up. I'm also recording from another application. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to load that one up, and that one's the right way. So there you go. Cheryl has a question. Pets we've lost from old age, will they be waiting for the others that haven't passed yet? Will they be waiting for those that haven't passed yet? Sometimes, not always. It's not always written 100%. That they're going to be, you know, what happens with some souls is that they don't reincarnate. Well, they don't reincarnate to us. So they go back, they reincarnate into another body, and then they go someplace else. So their soul is there to it. How do I explain it? It's kind of like when a soul is fully there and it's not incarnate, it feels very dense to me. When a soul has reincarnated, it feels thinner, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's more of a feeling for me. So I can tell if they've reincarnated by the density and the thinness of the soul energy of the soul that I'm feeling. So I hope that understands, but they don't always go and meet the others on the other side, although there's a part of their soul that's up there, and that can, but it's not the full soul. It really depends on what's going on. I hope that answered your question. Sherry, how can I confirm on my own if a past lived animal has come back in a new body? You can ask them. You can certainly ask them if you wanted to. And if you're open, which I'm pretty sure you will be, you should be able to hear it. It's difficult though, because you have to detach yourself from wanting to hear the answer. And you have to remain as neutral as you possibly can. Because it is, you're invested, the more invested you are in the answer, the less you're likely to hear the answer. Does that make sense? Because you want to hear this answer, and if you have your heart set on that answer, you're not going to hear it if it's the other answer. So it's going to clog up the pipe, so to speak. But you can certainly try. I absolutely, and you know where to find me if you need me. So you know how to get a hold of me. Bonnie, does karma have anything to do with soul choices? Do souls choose to be put into a situation to grow past previous mistakes and closer to unconditional love? Yes, I would say it does. Okay, but here's the thing. There's always a choice. There's always a choice. I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to be a girl. I want to be a boy. I want to be African American. I want to be Native American. I want to be white. I want to be Irish. I want to be Celtic. I want to be Druid. I want to be blah, 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 blah. There's always a choice. So, but it's like, I really hate to tell people this, but I know it's probably going to disappoint some people, but lawyers don't automatically have to just come back as snails. Okay, a person who's a lawyer in this life, or an asshole, a jerk off in this life is not necessarily, oh, screw it. A person who was an asshole in one life is not going to come back as an ant or a cockroach. It's choices. Sorry, it is. So, it's not like, that's the way I understand it. So is it karmically tied? To a certain extent, yes. And that's a great question, because here's the thing. There are some souls that really and truly want contrast. They really and truly want to grow in a small amount of time with as much contrast as they possibly can, so that they can grow from it, expand from it, move on from it, and become more from it as a soul, and get to the next level, and then come back. So that's why there are some souls that come in very, very shortly, live very, very, let's call them challenging or interesting, because I don't like brutal, and I don't like ugly, and I don't like those words. It just, because it leaves, when you use those words, it like I was talking to Sherry before. Hi, Sonia. When you use those words, brutal, ugly, bad, horrible, terrible, you're cutting off the meaning for that soul. Do you understand what I mean? What I mean by that is the soul's purpose then loses its meaning for being down here, because then we just seeing it as bad or terrible. There's some souls that come down here for interesting lives. There are some souls that come down here because they want to be an infant, and then they want to die in childbirth. They want to have that experience, because you got to understand, like I was talking about before with death, it's like a rocket or it's akin energetically to a nuclear blast or a rocket taking off. So what I mean by that is that there are some souls that want to come down here and have that experience that we would deem horrible and terrible, but they grow as a soul, and because of that, non-physical grows as a place. So then, if everything's got a soul plan and a life plan, I understand there are some things that are sad. I get that. But I always see and this was the gift I was given by the animals, I always see the soul plan and the life plan. So it always brings meaning to what's happening. When there's all this destruction, when there's all this death, that's written in that person or that animal or that being's soul plan or life plan. They wanted to go through that. And because of that, non-physical, their life has meaning. Their soul has meaning. Their life has a purpose. And because of that, non-physical grows. I mean, this is where it starts getting, mind-blowing. It's not just that it's in reincarnation. It's about, bringing meaning to all these things that are happening that we deem horrible and terrible and awful. It's written in the plan. It's written in the soul. It doesn't mean that anybody did anything wrong. It means that it brings meaning to it because there's expansion that's coming from it. So I hope that explains it, because that's pretty deep. That's pretty special. That's pretty freaking incredible. It really is when you think about it. And because of that, that's a gift that the animals gave me, and hopefully I'm giving and bestowing that upon you so that you can take this and remember this the next time something not so happy, fluffy happens, so you can see the bigger picture. So Serena asked me, do you connect with recently departed pets? Yes. All the time. So I'm happy to connect to your animal whenever it's possible. So Sherry asks, so animals find people who are abusive and people get upset with the abusers and that helps them grow. I'm going to be doing an episode on abuse, and so I'll let you know more about that. I'll expand more about that, but the animals see it differently than we do. They have this clarity. I'm not saying they're like, woohoo, I'm going to be abused and yeah, baby. And, they're not like that. It's not about that. They're like, yes, I'm going to be abused this lifetime. Yes. It's not about that. It's about the fact that they see things with a clarity that we don't. And if I can switch you to the way animals see it, if I can help you see that, I'm telling you, it's going to make so many of your lives better. Because then, I'm not going to say it excuses it and it says it's okay. I'm going to say that you can see the bigger picture. Okay? So that's why I'm excited about all of these episodes I'm going to be doing. Each one, I'm telling you, is going to blow your mind. Okay? Because it's incredible what they've shared with me. So I hope that helped you. Jen, you have got to write about your dream. What happens to the physical experience when we, when we go to non-physical. You're absolutely right. What I'll do is, thank you, Jen. You're right. My bad. So last 2 weeks ago, I did the show on death. So I talked about my dream or my visitation back to non-physical. And I promised that I would post about it because I wrote it out that night. All the details, and I promise, I will post that. I will post that on Facebook, and maybe write a post about it on my website, but I'll post about it on Facebook, I promise. Jacqueline, Damien asks, why would a person or animal desire a life of suffering as you were describing? Because as a soul, I explained this a little bit earlier. As a soul, when we're back up in non-physical, we don't see the good, the bad, and the ugly. We just see things as life. There's no fear up in non-physical. There's no trepidation. There's no worry. There's no concern. There's just this clarity of, oh, if I do this, then I get this, then non-physical gets this. There is a lot of expansion in challenging times. There just is. There's a lot of desire to become better or to get out of this situation. So there's a lot of creativity. And again, I'll talk more about this in the law of attraction, which is going to be in a couple of weeks, because the animals showed me about the law of attraction too. But basically what it is that there's a lot of expansion in the more we're moving, the more there is movement, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, the more we're churning, the more we're creating, the more we're making. the faster we're making it. So there's a lot of momentum in suffering. There is. So what happens is that hopefully we can get through it faster, as opposed to taking our time and just moseying through life and everything's good. And, we want to get out. Pain is the touchstone to human or spiritual development. Okay, we don't start moving as humans or as souls usually until we're in pain. That when we're in pain, boy, pain is a great motivator. It's just the way that it is. Sorry, but that's the way that I see it. So what happens is that where there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of expansion, there's a lot of growth through suffering, through pain. So that's why we come through it, because we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to become more, we want to be better in what we do and who we are as souls. So again, I hope that explains that. Sherry, you are wonderful. Thanks for sharing so much. If your knowledge and interpretations with us, you put a lot of work and energy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So finally, what I just want to say is I want to say thank you to everybody who's joining me on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on Facebook later on. I don't care. How you join me, just that you join me, that you're appreciating what I'm doing. It's made my life incredible, and I hope it's helping y'all get to where you need to be. And I'm sorry, Cheryl, if you think that it seems sad to you, but when you see it with the clarity that I do and what the animals have done, again, it brings the life plan and the soul plans bring meaning to what's going on. It's not just random. It's not just this is awful and it's random. There's a peace if you start thinking about it, and maybe you might want to just take a breath and maybe watch this episode again, and maybe you can get something else out of it. I hope you can. I hope you can. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Next week, I'm going to be talking about instinct versus reason. Do animals understand? If you have any topics that you'd like me to talk about, boom, let me know. PM me on Facebook. Email me to mail@coryellekramer.com. I'd love, some of them you guys are coming up with is great that I never even thought about, because I've been doing this. I'm in it, so I can think about stuff, and it comes up, but you guys want to know stuff, let me know. I'll post what I'm currently going to be sharing over the next few weeks. And if something sparks, let me know. If you're interested in a session with me, please go to my website, which is coryellekramer.com. Really easy. Find me on Facebook here. Find me on Facebook on my Facebook business page, because I do a weekly card pull there. And that's under coryellekramer.com, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, all coryellekramer.com. So thank you all. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Karen says, I think that for every bad situation there is good. There is good. Hard to comprehend, but there has to be bad things in order for us to recognize good. Bad situations bring out the good in many beings. That I agree with. I totally and completely believe that. The one thing I want to say is this. There is somebody who really and truly is an awesome person. Her name is Adele Dozer, okay? Adele Bonnie Dozer, and she is one of my clients. She's an awesome person. She's going through surgery today, so let's all send her love and light, and just send her some good juju and some good energy, because she's an awesome, beautiful human being, and I want to send her love out to her. Love you, Adele. You're awesome. You're amazing. You're fantastic. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for everybody for your comments. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Thank you, everybody, for your support. I love you all. I can't wait to do next week's session, or next week's episode. And you are just incredible, amazing, and I send you Much, much love to all of you and all of your animals. And I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.